shoot, I said as you claim it. It's that Xbox, spin the block, his legs slide. Fast talker, no riddling, moonwalking, selling moon rock just to make dividends. You in traffic with family? That much making a portrait. Gun kick back, not grannies from porches. David on the scene, you know that it's scorching. What's a man with king? No response to the saying, advancing the line, advancing the payment. You front the game and shoot, but said as you claim.
You already know the time, told my boys to hold the line. We gon' shoot it out in seconds, leave you posted like a vine. Bow your head down to the king, leave your roses at the shrine. We stay ready for the war, just need the king to drop the sign. Say what you running from, what you running from? I'm with my team, we bleed green, that's what you wanted, huh? Say what you running from, what you running from? I'm with my team, we bleed green, that's what you wanted, huh? This what you wanted. This what you wanted, huh?
Peace and blessings, and welcome back to Xbox Frontline News with your boy, the King. We have a wonderful Monday, and this Monday brings you exciting news for the week, games that we played all weekend, and with a heavy heart, I gotta say, sayonara, bon voyage, until we meet again, until I see you at another time. To an Xbox executive, ABK executive, and we'll get into that later on in the show. But there's people that's staying at Xbox that are doing wonderful things. People that are bringing the greatest generational leap that we've ever seen in any console generation. Individuals that are leading the way when an Xbox is making greater and greater strides in our gaming ecosystem. The platform, which is Xbox Game Pass and Microsoft Games, is something that is incredible to see. From streaming to downloading to just plug in and play, Xbox is leading the way where other people are trying to scramble to catch up. Now, if this is your first time finding the channel, welcome. You found your new best friend. If you like Xbox-centric content, well, here I am. 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every day. Like, follow, and subscribe. Share it out to friends. But listen, if I didn't convince you right now, stay tuned for the show. Watch the show. And then tell me at the end. But this past Friday, something very important happened. Now, you know, if you're a member of Xbox Frontline News, you dictate pace. We play video games daily. And that's on Frontline Gaming Streams, the sister channel. And on that channel, we get a chance to play many different games. So last week we were playing Battlefield, then we switched off and we started playing Marvel Rivals. But from there, a lot of members jumped in and said that they wanted to play 2K Wrestling 2025. And we did just that. Now, I know me talking about it right now really isn't saying anything. So let me show you the actual footage of what happened. Get them out of here, son. Get them out of here, son. I'm your dip down ass next.
There's that nastiness of
I'm not split off.
And meanwhile, Warrior.
What the hell, Move. Oh, he dang a possum pin.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah! Yeah!
I just had to get
I clicked.
I have eliminated! I got eliminated! Happened. Now, let me tell you this. I'm the Ultimate Warrior. And I loved the Ultimate Warrior back in the days, 100%. So I took the character that I love the most. And I do love Goldberg, but he's not available yet. So when he does become available, then that'll happen. But right now, I was the Ultimate Warrior, and you see what happened. I had to take Dip down. I had to take Oni down. We have an incredible members community. You members dictate pace. I'm working on various different things in the background to bring to you members. Now, remember, as a member, I'm going to be dropping videos just like this one earlier for you during the week, and you guys will get a chance to watch these videos before it goes live at 8:30 p.m. So if you want to see this, and then there's also exclusive content for you guys, then that's fine. But what members also get, and this is the newest thing, I'm working on getting servers. And in these servers, we will be playing games like DayZ. We will be playing Battlefield Beta, well, when it launches to actual launch, and playing various other games. And we will be cultivating that community. So those people that are members will be able to jump inside. Now, for some few lucky subscribers, you'll be able to get in if members aren't playing. But members dictate pace, and members' seats are privileged. So let's get into the content. Let's talk about it so you guys can know what we're talking about, and you are going to love it. Battlefield smashes Steam record as early beta impressions go live. This has been the most popular Battlefield, I think, release, to be honest with you. And of course, we have a different time when it comes to social media. So again, the ramping up of how a game is covered can definitely change. But this is the rare occurrence where the beta actually lives up to the hype. I myself and all of us on our Frontline Gaming streams got a chance to play the game, the beta, this weekend, and it was absolutely insane. It's officially over this weekend. It's up today, the 11th, and I'm gonna tell you right now, the game looks phenomenal. If you play it on the Series S, it looks really good. If you play it on the X, insane. Then I had the chance to play it on my PC. An absolute monster of a game. So again, this is the one that I'm looking forward to the most when it comes to playing team-based, squad-based war game sims, if you call it that. Arcade stuff to it, but you know what I mean. None of that stuff. And I'm on team no Nicki Minaj skin. I'm on that. In part of the dirty work campaign, the PlayStation has done more dirty work, even down to betas. They're trying to keep their fan base locked in as much as possible, trying to steer them away from Xbox. But the inevitable is the inevitable. But down to the newest, slimiest, dirtiest tactic, which is down to the beta. PlayStation has gone out and has PlayStation exclusive rewards for Battlefield 6 beta. Electronic Arts has already revealed what kind of rewards gamers will get by participating in the Battlefield Open Beta, which was on PlayStation last weekend. They're getting a little bit extra. PlayStation and EA has gotten together and said, you will get the Advanced Party Soldier skin. Just a basic black skin with blue on it to let you know that you are down with the blue team. But also, you got an event boost. At the end of each match in Battlefield 6 beta, PlayStation 5s will see a blue meter double in the current XP that they earn, which they can't confirm is on other platforms. But note, this also applies to weapons. So PlayStation 5 gamers are getting double XP weapon experience, which means they'll be able to unlock achievements faster. The little things you do to stay relevant. It is so cute. It is so slimy. It's so Sony. And again, me personally, I knew they would do something just like this. The fact that they don't have Call of Duty allows you to know that they will do anything strange for some change. They need to lock in as much as possible because they're losing titles and they're losing players day to day. When Game Pass is becoming the premier service in gaming, PlayStation is scrambling to find an identity. Who remembers Echo Mecha? I remember Echo Mecha. It came out, the trailer came out back when, what was that game that went with it? It was pretty cool. It was A Bright Memory Infinite. Yeah, didn't live up to what it should have been. But I saw Kickstarter for this game, and it was supposed to be Kickstarter, so I thought that it immediately fell off the radar of Xbox. Well, I was sadly mistaken. This game is still a console exclusive. It's still coming out on Xbox. The Kickstarter is to get it over the finish line, I guess, and I guess the game needed more polish. But what I did learn more about the game was that besides it being PvP, and they having a large aspect of that, and you use vehicles, mechs, and combat. Besides that, they have a battle royale mode. And what's unique to this is in the battle royale mode, after you land onto the island and this tightly packed island, when it gets down to 10 players, everybody suit up to their mecha, and they battle it out and turns into like a fighting game where parrying and stuff like that happens. But the most interesting part is after you suit up like Ultra Optimus Prime and you fly, you get a chance to fight this giant dragon. The game looks really good. I'm concerned about them needing more multiplayer maps and stuff like that. But other than that, I'm highly intrigued by this game. And again, Xbox console exclusive, because I guess maybe they had to pick what they were going to port it on. But the game still looks really good. Echoes of the End brings their breathtaking fantasy adventure to Xbox this week. Now, it launches August 12th. That's tomorrow on Xbox S and X. And you get a chance to see what it's about while I talk about it. Mercart Games is an Icelandic studio that was only established in 2016. And it has been published and is published by Deep Silver. They're known for Kingdom Come Deliverance and, Dead Island 2. And many other big releases. The intriguing stuff here, as far as I can tell by the reviews, Echoes of the End and Just to Combat has even recently adjusted the concerns of fans. So they have fixed a whole lot of things that people were, talking about, thinking it needed some refinement. Think of The Witcher and how fixing the battle system made that game a whole lot better. The game reminds me of what I thought Forspoken was going to look like and play like, mixed in with a little bit of The Witcher. There is a female protagonist called the Vestige. So again, let me know if you guys are interested in this title, if this title piques your curiosity. Is this something that you're looking forward to this week to get that fantasy itch that you've so been craving? A lot of times we get lost in brutal shoot 'em up first person shooters. Are we getting that RPG itch this week? And is that itch being scratched by Echoes of the End? Hellblade 2 Senua's Saga launches on the PlayStation 5 tomorrow. And a lot of times, a lot of these Xbox guys won't cover this stuff. I cover this stuff because tomorrow we get 60 frames per second mode, 120 frames per second mode. We get all these graphical updates and boosts to the initial code for Xbox tomorrow. So, if you have Game Pass Ultimate, where gamers play and winners win, well, that's exactly what's happening for them tomorrow, but they have to buy it. If you have Game Pass, then you just have to go try it. Go look at the new updates. Go see exactly what's happening. But the port over from Xbox to PlayStation was smooth because it was in Unreal Engine 5. Being in Unreal Engine 5 allowed them to transfer from Windows and all this other stuff to work in the background and operating system to be easily ported over. Now, we do know that the Xbox and the PlayStation are kind of equally close to the same machines with little nuances that change it. Like some of the system on chips are changed in some aspects, and some of the data pipeline is a little bit different in the CPU. But again, they're essentially the same machine. You just have to skew a little bit different here and there. But again, this is a very good indication that a lot of the Xbox games, when they do come over to the PlayStation 5, if they've already been out on the Xbox for a while, the refinements and the tools that they do learn once they place it over on the PlayStation 5, they can then take those refinements and assets that they worked on and they found out that they can do extra stuff with the Xbox version because of working closer with the PlayStation version. Well, those updates and assets and stuff like that come over to the Xbox at no additional cost. So again, everybody wins. Xbox wins, PlayStation wins, and gamers win as a whole. If you're part of Game Pass Ultimate, then you understand what it is to be part of the winning team. If you're part of the PlayStation, well, we understand exactly who you are. But have fun tomorrow with Senua Saga Hellblade 2.
Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice shipped on PlayStation in 2017, so we're really excited to bring Senua back to PlayStation so players can continue her journey in Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. When porting a game between similar form factor and performance hardware, it's more about porting the technology than the game specifically. And so we were very fortunate here that Epic had a very good platform integration for PlayStation already for Unreal Engine 5. Once the build was running, we were able to then have our tools team hook up all of our CI and infrastructure so that we would get nightly builds as well as being able to onboard the content team.
They're testing you. They are laughing at you.
We also have a system internally called Self-Play, which is able to play the game from start to end, as well as attaching profiling tools to this while it does it. This meant that very early on, we were able to get the game verified as playing start to end and get a good overview of where our current performance was at. This was a great position for us to start on the platform. All of the features of Hellblade 2 are present and accounted for on PlayStation hardware, and we've also added support for adaptive triggers, haptics, and Dolby Atmos. The version of the engine that we shipped on was not PlayStation 5 Pro aware. This meant we had to port features from later versions of the engine, but it did allow us to enable features like PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution and variable rate shading. Ultimately, the porting of Hellblade 2 to PlayStation 5 went very smoothly. This meant that we could spend more of our time working on the new content as well as performance mode.
With the change from Motorsport and Horizon, when Motorsport changed from Motorsport 7 to Forza Motorsport 7 to Motorsport, and it was supposed to be a game of service, and it didn't take off like how I thought it would, because there was setbacks, there were hindrances, and the machine itself, the engine, didn't seem to run as fluid and as great as past Forza Motorsports. I thought Forza Motorsport 7 was the pinnacle. Then we got Motorsport, and I thought it was a kind of a step back, and I understood that they had to rejigger the engine in which the Forza Motorsport engine was on. We had that interview, we talked about that stuff, but Forza Horizon came through, and Forza Horizon 5, notably, was probably the breakout Forza Horizon that Forza Motorsports wanted to be. It's a little bit more versatile. It's a little bit more hip. It's a little bit more current. And latest conversations have been wrapped around, is Forza Motorsport the last Forza? I believe it was the last Forza mainstay. I said it then, but it was also supposed to be a game, a service game. It wasn't set to be a yearly iteration or a bi-yearly iteration. It was supposed to be something that was stacked upon, kind of like how Gran Turismo is. Gran Turismo added many different aspects and layers to it post-launch, and very early on, being that there's a dedicated fan base for Gran Turismo, that changed. I think the dedicated fan base over at Forza Motorsports gravitated to Forza Horizon and looked at that as the premier instead of the sidebar. Gran Turismo didn't have competition. Now it does in Forza Horizon. And I believe Forza Horizon 5 will do the same thing that it did to Forza Motorsports, to Gran Turismo. Over a period of time, you will see a gradually changing of the guard and individuals opting to do Forza Horizon 5, which is more fun, which is more casual, which is more hip, and can be a lot grueling, instead of the circuit racing. I think circuit racing is going to be centered around niche titles like EA's NASCAR. Well, this is just my opinion. And seeing all the articles that are going on, it makes you think wholeheartedly, is Forza Horizon 5 the premier racing title that will stretch across multiple consoles, which will galvanize multiple ecosystems and bring together gamers all across the world, a way that Gran Turismo can't, Forza Motorsports can't, and Mario Kart can't. If Forza Horizon 5 is a unifying game that can stretch boundaries, well, then it stands the chance that we've seen the last of Forza Motorsports and possibly the last of Gran Turismo. I know Mario Kart will always have a lane, just purely off of the fact that it's a kart racer with characters. But for a little bit more mature crowd and people that want a little bit more out of their racing, I think every racing genre is in danger once Forza Horizon 5 invades their ecosystem. Let me know what you think. Maybe I'm blowing this out of proportion. Maybe me and the others are feeling the same. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe you're right. Let me know what you think. First and foremost, I want to say congratulations to Rod Fergusson for prioritizing himself over a stressful work environment as far as the day-to-day aspects of running with Diablo. Remember with him with the coalition and coming back and all this other stuff, and actually doing greater endeavors outside of what happened with ABK and Microsoft. He has been a foundational piece with us in the gaming industry, and I just want to take my hat off to him and everything that he has done in the community as far as bringing great games and life-changing franchises and being part of molding young minds when it comes to video games. He's an incredibly positive person. Every time I've met him and had interactions with him has been nothing but awe-inspiring. To learn any little bit of nuggets that I can learn from an individual such as he, I am truly humbled and happy to have had those moments. So again, I take my hat off to Rod Fergusson, and may God bless anything that you do and everything that you do. My hat is off to you, sir. Again, thank you so much for all your contributions into the gaming space. I cannot wait for your next endeavors. Man, it's sad watching the goalposts moving and people not understanding. Sometimes acceptance is the key. You guys do so many different things to avoid the obvious. I don't know how many ways that PlayStation has to tell you that they aren't prioritizing you. They won the biggest generation that was necessary, the digital library generation. Once you're locked in, now they can go and do things differently. Xbox lost that generation and had to do things differently ahead of time. So their time clock was sped up exponentially. PlayStation's time clock is now sped up because of the lack of exclusive titles, and the thought process in taking third-party money is actually a shrinking pool in this generation. It forces individuals to look at the machine as just a third-party machine, not an exclusive box. See, the Nintendo Switch 2 is a different proposition when it comes to video games. The Xbox is a different proposition, and the PlayStation finds himself in this no man's land where they're neither here nor there. But they are taking the steps in the right directions and to fix that. So PlayStation has made various strategic moves going forward in placing money in Bandai Namco and Kadokawa and trying to get a greater leverage when it goes into this ever uncertain future. But one thing that they are certain is that they're going to be moving away from a hardware-centric business model because that is not conducive to them winning anything. Actually, it has formed stagnation, and PlayStation Nation, as you know it, hasn't been moving forward. Now, they can sell all the hardware in the world, but they're not selling hardware. They're shipping hardware. And you know, when you ship, if you're working on the back end, you don't get paid. So what they have to get is a strategy that leads to greater sales in software, that's absolute money, and greater sales in services where they can actually grow. And leveraging your ability that you have with your movie arm, if you will, that changes everything. Remember, they went out and got Crunchyroll, Funimation. They're doing things in the animation space that allows them to take certain IPs to make that grow. Now, using those IPs, you're able to place it on various streaming services that allows you to gain a greater access to more audience. Now taking that same streaming idea and taking your games and placing it on equally distributed devices allows your reach to go even further. As the stock notation today that I put up on my recent tweet shows you, since PlayStation's announcement that they're moving away from a hardware-centric business, changes the aspects and the ratios of what their ROIs are on the investments that they did put out there. Now their stocks have seen a tremendous growth, upwards of $4 in growth in just one weekend. I applaud it. I expected them to do this a long time ago, and I told you before, hashtag no PlayStation 6. We're going to run it up on these bums. I'm going to keep the boot on Kong's neck this whole generation. If you haven't learned anything, you learn this. I'm 98% right all the time. And if you don't get it, you'll learn. But me being right is just the tip of the iceberg. Pause. So, the funniest things that I see on Twitter. Let this be the day that I let you see the way that I see the day when it comes to posting things that come my way. Xbox president is delighted to join the board of directors on Tyson Foods. Now, on first glance, you may say to yourself, oh my God, she's setting up a landing place at another company, like some smooth-brained individuals will kind of think. And then, on further inspection, you find out that it's an independent member of the board of directors. Now, as an independent board of directors, her expertise in certain areas will allow the company to grow in different areas. Now, of course, as an independent, you get paid as such, right? You give your contractor work on certain aspects, you gain some insights. This is what happens when you have $1 million and $1 billion friends. When you get to these elevated seats in office in whatever larger company you are in, she is in a $4 trillion company that is set to be a $5 trillion company in the next 16 months. And this is going to afford Sarah Bond extra luxuries, if you will. As running Xbox hardware, software, she is ahead of the curve when it comes to what her expertise brings to the marketplace. And as far as her work over at T-Mobile, a lot of you guys know that. Her expertise there gave her greater insight on the expertise and the usage of what that entails over at Xbox, i.e. the multi-strategy. Everything is done at threes, and if you haven't looked at what I've told you, and I've told you this a long time ago, a lot of these CEOs and members, like Phil Dominus Maximus Aurelius Spencer, first of his name, is on the boards of a lot of different things. Like Aaron Greenberg is on the board of Gamers Outreach. You have to realize these guys and gals are part of Elite Club, which affords them the luxury of being a lot of times in the background on a lot of these boards. When Satya Nadella was on the board of OpenAI, there wasn't a problem. He wasn't setting up a landing place for his next job. We have to get past the smooth brain comments that allow us to think inside of the box. Everything isn't worthy of a tabloid cover, but being now that anything newsworthy is going to be posted and anything unnewsworthy shall be posted, well, we get dribbled like this. So again, she's not leaving Xbox. That's never a thought. It's an independent board of directors job placement, if you will, to give greater insight on a strategy for Tyson Chicken, one of the largest, if not the largest, when it comes to chicken. I think Purdue and them. But again, her particular set of skills allows her a greater insight in a placement of a board of directors independent that allows her to gain some independent cash. Anyway, a nothing burger, but smooth brains will always lean to the left. And I gotta tell you, it's very gratifying seeing how you turned this into something that was actually nothing. Now, the funny thing is how Twitter goes is people always like to troll, and I'm cool with that. But spreading false narratives about individuals, about them leaving places and jobs and stuff like that, when Sarah Bond, the queen, has just got elevated to her position as a CEO over at Xbox, I think that is kind of fugazi and wrong. Not just because she's a woman, not just because she fought very hard to get her position, because it's very disingenuous to spread that type of rumor, and it's kind of malicious, to be honest with you. Now, I know we do it all the time to guys, and maybe I have a soft spot in my heart for her. Maybe. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I did bid farewell to Rod Fergusson, and he's actually leaving ABK, Microsoft, because he was over there heading up at Diablo, and he did a wonderful job there. But you also know him from the Coalition and bringing the wonderful Gears franchises and Epic and stuff like that. So again, Rod had his hands in many different things, and I expect him to go on to great endeavors. Any conversations that we did have was always genuine and was always great. Rod was a wonderful individual. He was one of the individuals that I met, one of the executives that I first met when we were sleeping in the mall overnight to get FanFest tickets very early on in early FanFest days. He showed up to hand out pizza. He showed up to be with the crowd. Him and many others. You know, Phil was there. Many other people was there. So again, I truly respect that, because listen, you have to understand where you are in this life and to truly be humble. And to give back to the community in such a manner is outstanding. So he's always been an outstanding individual. Now, I'm noticing the goalposts moving by the PlayStation community, and I understand. I don't know how many different ways they need to tell you. I don't know if you needed to see that business update thing. I don't know if you needed to see the job listing, and they're going to tell you that the job listing was there for decades and it just got vacated and this, that, and the third. Well, they updated the language inside that thing. And then you had to see the financial report at the end where they told you they're moving away from a console-centric business and they're trying to diversify their portfolio, because the upcoming storm has put them in a way of PlayStation not being able to move left or right. PlayStation is actually stuck. Out of the big three, Nintendo's have their exclusive strategy where hardware and exclusives push their ecosystem. Microsoft is third-party, hardware-centric, but they're also using OEM devices to push their hardware to greater heights. So if you can't sell it one way, sell it multiple different ways. And then you're putting software all over the place. Sony was the one that was left out with putting out one exclusive per year. Their hardware is selling, but it's not selling, it's shipping. You ship out a bunch of hardware, then you have to wait for it to sell. Those type of strategies doesn't put them in a greater light. And monthly active users is fluctuating to a point where the uncertainty in the marketplace needs them to be something different. So I commend Sony for doing that, but I don't commend you PlayStation dudes for not acknowledging exactly what's happening in front of you. For many years, you have forced Xbox guys to see what was going on in front of us. And for that, we are eternally grateful. So with understanding that we are grateful, I in turn turn back to you and say, listen, take my hand while I put my boot upon your neck and tell you, Kong is dead. And we're going to run it up on his bums. Hashtag no PlayStation 6. You know what it is. I'm going to keep the boot on Kong's neck this whole generation. Now that we got that out the way, let's talk about a little bit more stuff that I really like to talk about. Pac-Man Repack World, Pac World 2. I'm a huge fan of Pac-Man, right? So growing up, I played Pac-Man in the arcade. And from there, Pac-Man turned into a super phenomenon with Miss Pac-Man and Baby Pac-Man and all this other stuff. We played all of it. We did everything. But it also had cereal, and it also had a cartoon show. And the cartoon was great. And I played it on my Atari 2600, 7800, ColecoVision. I did Pac-Man. I played Pac-Man on everything. I also won a Pac-Man arcade tabletop machine, which was wonderful when I was growing up. So at the end of the day, I'm a huge Pac-Man fan. And to see Pac-Man coming back in this fashion it makes me so happy. reimagining a game that I played back in the days and showing it to the crowd now. This is incredible. Updated graphics, updated gameplay, updated times, and updated sound. It's amazing the times that we live in. So if you never got a chance to play it, here's your opportunity and here's your chance now. And there's no better chance than now. So we're at a point now where CEOs and everybody is diversifying. Iron Lords Podcast, we're on the boards of the Gaming Critics Circle, where it comes to evaluating games. And at the end of the year, the New York City Game Awards, we're on the board of that. Where Aaron Greenberg is on the board of Gamers Outreach. Phil Dominus Maximus Aurelius Spencer is on the board of that was overseeing E3 as far as getting games there and what was going to be on the shows. And Sarah Bourne is on the board of Tyson Chicken. And you had Satya Nadella on the board of OpenAI. Very successful people do very successful things, and they place their expertise in areas that will actually grow their portfolio, but also challenge them in different forms and fashions. So we have to understand that some people may think going to one job and just working that one job is a thing. But when you start to challenge yourself in life, you're going to take on different opportunities in different areas to strengthen your tool set so that you become indispensable in any opportunity. And also remember, the more you extend yourself to others and find out different avenues and different ventures, the more your reach grows around the world. And that's what you want more than anything. You want to be a dependable person. You want to be a person that can be counted on and have expertise in many different areas. So I salute Sarah Bond in doing that. And I just got to give you a frown, Twitter, because today was a day you kind of disappointed me. But this is Xbox Frontline News. If you liked anything that you've seen here, then please, by all means, sub. And if you really like it and you like the content that much and you want to support, well, then become a member, because members are the lifeblood of the channel. There's also merch inside the stores. Check out the merch. There's some hilarious stuff there, like the Glizzy Man and all that other stuff. And check that out and you'll understand what that is. I'm also on Iron Lords Podcast, Sundays at 1 p.m. until like 7 o'clock at night, I guess, because all of a sudden now we're a 6-hour podcast. But on our road to Tokyo, we're getting out there, and I want to thank each and every last one of you. If y'all see, Diddy is right here. So again, go to my other channel, that's Frontline Gaming Streams, where we stream and play games daily and just have a ball. But I'm going to do what gamers do always, and that's where gamers go to game and winners go to win. And that is, try to play the Game Pass.